Hello, welcome to Burning Questions, a big show planned. It is October 3. We're going to look at the big Melton Entertainment Park meeting on Saturday, the 5th of October. I'll tell you what a panel we got here. It's royalty left, right, and centre. Let's start with punting royalty and tipping royalty. Darren, Carroll, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, and yes, it certainly is a vast little panel.
Oh, it is. Let's move to training royalty, and we go welcome in Andy Gath, who nearly turned around and left this show when he saw who else I've got on this show. Andy, I hope you've recovered after Saturday afternoon.
No, haven't quite recovered, but we're slowly getting through it. A couple more sessions with my psychiatrist, and I should be fine.
You might have to book a couple more in after I bring in our third guest, and it is race calling royalty, Chris Barsby, who has plucked a jumper out of obscurity. Chris, welcome to the show, and I'm staggered that you've brought that on, but that's fantastic. Where did you source that from, first of all?
Well, guys, great to be part of the show. I had to just go out on a limb. I normally support Geelong, but given that Andy Gath is part of this show and what happened last weekend, I thought it was too good an opportunity to miss. So we've been able to find a Lions jumper. They're in abundance up here in Queensland. I will happily find you one, Andy, send it down, and I'll even get some signatures for you.
Yeah, I'm about a medium, I think.
A medium? I haven't got his address, somewhere in Long Forest. But great stuff, Chris. You'll always be welcome back on this show if you're taking the mickey out of AP Gath. All right, let's get stuck into some more somewhat serious stuff. And our very first sponsor is Pride's Easy Feed. They stand as a proud supporter of the harness racing industry with their set recipes and quality ingredients to give the trainer confidence in what they're feeding. So make the switch to Pride's and start getting the result you've been chasing. He's drawn out wide off the front, but will leap to fame, still have too much grunt. We're talking about race 2 on the card here. It's the feature at Melton on Saturday night. It's the Highland Harness Colours Smoking Up Sprint. What a cracking race. I'm in at HRV headquarters at the moment. We've been discussing it all morning about who might lead and some of the potential speed maps. Chris, I might go to you first of all. You know, we're bringing you in for some of this Queensland information. Obviously, Leap to Fame is one of them, and one of our questions later will relate to some of the Queenslanders. But outside front row draw for Larry over the sprint trip in a really hot field. What do you make of it?
Well, it's not ideal, given that he's got that wide barrier draw and knowing that he's going by road to get there this weekend. But I made the effort of going to Albion Park last week. I was on annual leave, but I wanted to see him in the flesh first up last week, and he was awesome. And I think the way he drove that race last week, Grant Dixon, will be something similar to what we see again this weekend. I think he floats off the army. He's not brilliant off the gates, as we know, but I think he floats off the arm, and he'll just keep slowly pushing forward. And eventually, I think Grant Dixon will be happy to sit outside whoever's in front, whether it's Catch a Wave, Curly James, or whoever. I think as long as he gets to that position without spending too much petrol, I think he'll be very content, Grant Dixon.
Yeah. $1.60 at last look, Chris. Is that about right? Is it too short? Is it a good bet? I mean, we know how good he is and we get $1.60 for him. Is it a good bet?
Well, I wouldn't be rushing in at those odds. I'm not a thrill seeker, so I don't find the $1.60 appealing. He did open $1.70 earlier in the week, so there has been support for him. So I think that just comes back to the fact that everyone knows who he is. He's the number one pacer in this part of the world. So punters obviously there was some value there, and they were happy to take it. But for me, I'd be prepared to watch, and I'll wait for next week, the Victoria Cup.
In a word, though, does he win the race on Saturday night?
Yes.
Good call there. Before we go to the next, Chris, just on Leap to Fame, your long and illustrious career, where would calling him sit? Is he the top of the tree for you?
He's not the top of the tree. I was lucky enough to call Black Safake at the back end of his career, and I'm the Mighty Quinn. He had his final start at Albion Park. I'm the Mighty Quinn. So they're still numbers 1 and 2, but he's closing the gap. He's a very close third as it stands right now, Leap to Fame, and he's still got a long way to go with his career. Black Safake and I'm the Mighty Quinn. They're numbers 1 and 2.
They're pretty good. You better watch out, Chris. I walk around my house going, "There's the light." They're often pacing, so I might be the next one in the callers box. You better watch out. Darren, Carroll, we'll go to you.
So it's interesting. Black Safake was in my time number 1 on my list. I probably was on the back end of Poppy and things like that. So I'll exclude him. So yeah, I had Black Safate just because of longevity and what he achieved over time. But yeah, I'm with Chris. Leap to Fame is very closely nudging past him.
He's closing in. Daz, Saturday night, Leap to Fame, outside front row. What do you make of it yourself?
Well, I think the Catch Away finds the front. I'm fairly confident that Curly James will take a sit. Curly James has got the speed to kick up if it wanted to, but I don't think that happens. Catch a Wave, I've done a bit of history on his record when he's led at Melton. I think that's really important. And he's 3 for 3 over 17-20 at Melton. And he is, 8 out of 10 in total. He's only been beaten twice when he's led at Melton, once behind Yambuckian and the other time behind 888. So he's going to be very, very hard to catch. And, the champion is having to be floated down today. I think he arrives about now. So that's not the best preparation at all, but I can't pot him at all. Will I have a bet in a race? I don't think I could have a bet in a race. So it's just one of those great races to watch and hope the best horse wins.
If you had to go one way or the other, though, is it Catch a Wave or Leap to Fame?
I think the $1.60 is about the right price.
Yeah.
I then would have Catch a Wave about $3.20 and then a massive gap to the rest. I'd be shocked if something outside those two won.
One more question for you before we go to Andy. Mac Dan, I thought he might be a potential. He crossed Catch a Wave in the Len Smith. I know Kate wasn't really burning there, but could he be a fly in the ointment?
He could be, but I don't think that will happen. I don't think it will be allowed to happen. But talk to the trainer and see what he thinks. Andy,
what are your thoughts on this race? It's a great race, first and foremost. You want to win it, though. Do you think you can?
Just important to hear that Leap to Fame's going to make it here. So that would be a lot easier to beat when he's not there. So, no, he's another champion. He's won 19 of his last 20, and it's very rare for him to get beat. Every time he's in a race, we look for reasons why he can't win, and he always gets the job done. So, going to be a Herculean task to try and beat him, but really happy with my horse. I think he'll leave the gate pretty quick. We're pretty keen to hold the lead. We're going to be better again next week, but so is, Leap to Fame as well. But gives us an opportunity to sort of test to see where we're at. So hopefully if we can lead, I think we'll sort of run along pretty solid the whole way and make it a true staying test. And, he's a hard horse to beat, Larry. And I love watching him, but I prefer watching him when I don't have a horse against him.
So roughly what time do you think they'll go in?
Well, Tango Tail went around the 150 when he got beat by Perfect Stride. So I think it'd be around the 150, maybe even break 150.
Yeah. Andy, two more quick ones on this one. Confident that you'll get across Curly James, or confident that they'll allow that. And the other one was Mac Dan. What are your thoughts on him being potential gate speed runner?
Yeah, well, Buckian was able to hold Mac Dan a couple of starts ago, and I think Catch a Wave gets out quicker than Buckian. So I think we'll be able to hold Mac Dan. We know Curly James gets out pretty quick, but all indications are they're looking to hand up. So I think, good chance we'll be finding the top.
Okay, really interesting. Can't wait for this one. I'm going to lean towards Leap to Fame to beat Catch a Wave, just for the fact that I absolutely know what I'm going to get from Leap to Fame, and I know he's going to end up in the chair, and I think he can still be too good. But yeah, probably not. A bit like you guys, not going to rush in at the $1.60. Great insight there. Let's move on to question number 2. Logical Staffing Solutions provide labour hire and recruitment services to the transport, warehousing, automotive and manufacturing industries. The logical solution for your staffing needs. Chantal and Pete are making the trek, so can their pair snare a big check? I thought I did pretty well there. Trek and check, not too bad. Let's move down to race number 5, RDB Mickey in one of the Oaks heats, and also we've got
race 3, number 8.
Race 3, number 8, the Janitor, in one of the Derby heats. I'd love your insights here, Chris. Don't know much about the Janitor, but I did do a bit of research, and I watched a fair bit of RDB Mickey. Clearly, she's got a better chance of the two, but just talk us through those two horses from Queensland.
Well, firstly, what's interesting with these two stablemates, they're flying down tonight where Leap to Fame went down by road. So that's interesting. So they got on that flight, no problem whatsoever. RDB Mickey is still very much unknown. I don't think, even if you ask Pete McMullen and Chantel Turpin how good this filly is, I still don't know they would be able to give you a clear and definitive answer. She did the double up here. She won the Southeast Oaks, Queensland Oaks double. She showed blazing gate speed from a wide draw to win the Southeast Oaks, and then she showed blazing change-up speed to win the Queensland Oaks when she was trapped away on the inside. She's a wickedly fast filly. I think she's got enough speed to clear, and given that it's a front row draw for Pete McMullen, he won't need too much encouragement to run the gate. 2,700 for both of these horses. A little bit unknown, in particular with the filly, but given that she is a Kiwi-bred filly, she's raced in New Zealand, I think she'll handle it. So she's very good. The janitor, he's on the polar opposite end of it as far as RD Mickey is concerned. Now, he's work in progress, this guy. They bought him, paid decent money for him from New Zealand, came across unraced. He keeps developing. He's probably 6, maybe even 12 months away from being at his best. But this draw on Saturday night gives him some sort of chance because he won't have to get involved early. Not that he's got a great deal of gate speed, but if they go hard and there's a genuine tempo, he could be picking off quite a few late. So he's a little bit of a smoky. He's at big odds. He's probably over the odds at that quote, but this is an assignment that is hopefully going to be the making of him in time to come.
240 for RDB Mickey. Chris, for a likely front runner, is that a good bet or a touch short in your mind?
I thought it was a touch short. I thought that was probably rock bottom. She got beaten last time out, but the horse that beat her is probably the best pacing mare up here right now in Chinchilla, a horse that you guys know well down there. She's in the zone right now, and Pete McMullen didn't do a great deal on her. He was at the rear of the field. Chinchilla sailed the way out in front, blazed home in a quick last quarter. She did as well as what she could. But I was surprised that she went up at the quote that she did earlier in the week.
Yeah, interesting. Great insight. Thanks, Chris. Darren, how did you see, the chances of those two Queensland horses or, if you want to speculate on other runners or your thoughts on the Derby heats and the Oaks heats?
So I'll start with the Janitor for a start. Awkward draw inside the second row. Probably a good draw to qualify. Can it beat Aaron Clayton's horses? I doubt it. Would need a lot to go its way. So I'd say a chance of qualifying because of the draw. But, gee, it's a good race, the Derby heat that it's in, because you've got the Kingman and some American. Mickey to Success beat him last time. Then He's From Heaven lost a bit of its status last week, but I still rate the horse. Media Moth was really impressive, so really good heat. Sergeant Lou, can't discount him as well. So it's going to be tough to qualify for the Janitor. As far as RDB Mickey, I really like this filly. In doing the work on it, she's only had 5 or 6 starts for Chantal and Pete. And amazing gate speed, never drawn anything better than 5 or 6. So it's drawn 5 this time. So it's got the ability to cross. I think that our 3-year-old fillies aren't elite. And this horse has shown that she's got amazing turn of foot. And I just think she'd be too good for these. And she was one of the favourites for the night that we could back. Because a lot of them are thin, and I'm confident she's one of the better bets of the night.
Yeah, I'm warming to her as well. Just one insight I had. Sulky App's a great tool, particularly for horses coming from different jurisdictions, and I was staggered by the difference in her. She was a 28 rated horse off with the gate speed down to a 20. She had a clear margin. You don't see that sort of margin on Sulky App, so she should clear them for fun based on those numbers.
And it was her first 50 to 60 metres. She was just so elite off the gate for speed. So she'll cross them for fun, I thought.
Yeah, I'm warming to her, so that's good insight. Andy, your thoughts on the Queenslanders, but probably most interested in getting your insight. Chris, help us out here. Race 3, number 9. How do we pronounce that one?
Race 3, number 9. Let me find that one there for Saturday night. So just looking at that as I bring it up on my screen here.
I reckon you'll know the horse.
Safer,
Andy. I think you butchered it the other day on the phone. So anyway, tell us.
Yeah, well, obviously, I think you ran 4th in the Queensland Derby, or 50, wasn't too far away. Yeah, he's a reasonable horse. The better 3-year-olds are better than him. He's the next tier down. Just listen to what Chris said about the Janitor. We'll probably just jump on his back and follow him on the pegs, and hopefully he can qualify into the final next week. But when he finds a suitable race in the country, I'm sure you can string a few together. Got a nice horse, and just getting on to the other filly, RDB Mickey. She's a wonderful filly. She's got terrific high speed, and I think she'll find the top. Even though it's 2,700, you find these races a pretty pedestrian-like run. So I think she'll lead and win, and seems pretty good price. But it hurts me having Chris on here. Giving all this credit to all these Queenslanders. But credit where credit's due, and I think she'll be too good.
What about their footy team, Andy? Can you give them some credit?
I did. I haven't turned away from the fact that Gareth Hawke got a text message off me halfway through the second quarter congratulating him. He said it nice and early.
Yeah, we did. Good stuff. Let's move on to question 3. Andy's got the new recruits flying, so will the Jet leave the others crying? Race 1 on the card on Saturday night is a dynamic print group Trotters free-for-all. We're talking about horse number 3, I'm Ready Jet, for Andy Gath, who was just enormous last start, I thought. And Andy, we'll come to you shortly, but you were quite deflated after that race just because the horse went so good and just couldn't quite get it done. It hurts a little bit more, but we'll go to you, Chris. I'm Ready Jet. She's short in the market, but I think she deserves to be. She might have even improved since changing to the all-conquering Gath stable.
Well, the key thing about this race is the fact that it's a mobile start. So Andy's obviously keen to focus on the other mobile start races with her. And she is in terrific form. That last start run was terrific, running second. Finds the right race here, squeezed in between 2 really good mares and Rockin' With Attitude and Queen Elida. But just on the way she's performing right now, and it's a mobile start race, she's the horse to beat. I'm Ready Jet.
Yeah. Daz, do you agree?
Yeah, tactics going to be interesting early. You got a couple of aggressive drivers here in David Miles on Rockin' With Attitude and Puppet and Queen Elida. Queen Elida did press the button last start and was very quick off the gate. So if they get in a little bit of a war early, that's only going to help one horse and one horse only. She was just so good last time and took a very, very good sit sprinter in Key and Chucky to run her down. So got a lot going for her. So any early pressure, she'll be too good. Even if there's not early pressure, I see her being too good both on her last run.
Andy, your thoughts here? I'm Ready Jet. She's going great guns, isn't she?
Yeah, she's going really good, and she's probably going to have to bruise again, which always makes it difficult. She hasn't got the natural gate speed as the ones around her, so I'm guessing if any of them lead, they'd probably be looking to hold her, but who knows? She's going well, but when I look at the market and see that she's $1.60, or you can march up and take $1.60 leap to fame, it seems seems like I'd be taking $1.60 leap to fame before $1.60 I'm Ready Jet. But I expect her to win, and she's in great order, and hopefully she can keep this form going along, going forward.
And is there any chance if Queen Elida found the front that it would hand up based on last week?
Well, it might.
I reckon.
But they might think she's a bit fitter and needed to run too. So it's hard to tell. But appreciate if she does anyway.
Andy, she'll go to the Bill Collins alongside Call Me the Breeze and take on Just Believe.
Yeah, no, definitely. So so there'll be another great clash. Victoria Cup night amongst the trotters.
Yeah, can't wait for that. Just quickly back to you, Chris. I forgot to ask you before. Pete McMullen and Chantel, what do you know what their history down here in Victoria would be? Have they had, or has Pete driven much down here?
He hasn't. I was thinking about this earlier in the week. I reckon the last time they competed at Melton would have been with Matt Gregor in the 4 and 5-year-old championship. That was several years ago. The horse that won that race was My Field Marshal, and Matt Gregor, their horse at massive odds, ran second. So they don't venture to Melbourne often. They get down to Sydney quite a bit, but Melbourne just seems a bridge too far. But they're showing their keenness to get down there and tackle these big races. So that's a good sign going forward. And there's probably no better gate speed driver, certainly in Queensland, if not Australia, than Pete McMullen. So he'll have no problem leading with RDB Mickey.
I think, are they staying at Greg and Jess's? Am I reading?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I think Bronte Newenberg, colleague of mine, is going to head out there tomorrow and have a chat. So good luck to them. Let's move on to the fourth and final question. And it encompasses 2 races, the final 2 races on the card at 9:21 p.m. and 9:52 p.m. Derek and Zahara are favourites to close the night, but can any rivals give them a fright? We're talking about the 2 Need for Speed finals, the Princess and the Prince. The market says that Kiang Zahara is a $1.04 favourite and Derek the Jet is a $1.10 favourite. I don't think anyone's going to argue favouritism. Chris, is there any scenario probably bar a gallop, that sees these two favourites get beaten at the end of the night?
Well, I think they're their own worst enemy to get beaten. If they are to be beat, it just seems impossible for any of their rivals to beat them, given their current form right now. Kiang Zahara, this is a freakish filly. I can't wait to see her make the trek across to New Zealand and take on that big slot race over there, where she's pitted against the best Kiwi trotters in their own backyard. That will be really exciting. Given what she delivered last week, I don't know how they get anywhere close to her. And Derek the Jet, he's just ticking them off. He's a really nice trotter. I can't see any of his rivals catching him either. So it just looks a put-in, take-out job for both of those favourites in the last two races.
They're pretty skinny in the quaddie, I reckon, Daz, if you're taking a main quaddie.
Two legs of the quaddie, by the look of it. Yeah. If only we had a bit more form to go off if these races. That I just think that, go off the long run. I'm not sure why we ran these races last week. It's not helping because, they're $1.04 and $1.10 or whatever. Would be better off just having a final and adding more money to the final and, having a little bit of surprise element to the race, I suppose. But, they're both out and out stars. They deserve to be running around for good money. But I just think we probably could use the money wisely and put the heat money into this final.
Yep. Is there any way to make money out of this race, Daz? I've got one. I really think Mary's Mac can run second to Kiang Zahara. Gee, I've been really impressed with her. Her runs have been really good this prep. I even thought her run in the Vic Bred final was better than Ballerini. She draws inside Ballerini. I was pretty confident the exacta there, 2 to beat for Mary's Mac.
No place markets out for that yet.
No.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with you, Tim. She was outstanding last week to run. What, she ran second or third?
She ran third, but she breezed, I reckon.
Got picked. Yeah, she did breeze. So she's some chance of finding the fence this time. If she does, then I'd agree with you. But if you could get $1.70, $1.80 a place, then that would be the way to play the race.
That'd be my best bet if that was the case. Andy, your thoughts? Anything you can? You generally like disagreeing with me, but I don't think you can here, can you?
Well, I agree with Darren a bit, the fact that we ran heats on this race when they're all going to qualify. And it might have been better if we actually merged this race and made it worth $100,000 and had Derek the Jet going head-to-head with Kiang Zahara. Would have been a lot better spectacle and a lot better betting race. So, but it is what it is. They're both going to win. And luckily, Victoria Cup night's going to be a great race, and we're going to see Kiang Zahara again go around because the Trotters Oaks is on as well, which is going to just add to the night.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. What a great night. Victoria Cup, the clash between Call Me the Breeze and Just Believe, and then Kiang Zahara going around again. It's going to be a ripper night of racing, October 12. Sharps Bakery best bets time. I reckon Daz has tried the vanilla slice from Sharps Bakery. I'm not sure if Andy has, and you probably wouldn't have no clue, Chris, but are you a fan of the vanilla slice at all?
Yeah, big fan. Big fan.
Well, if we can get you to birch it one day, I think this will knock your socks off because this is next level sort of stuff. If you can, look, you've already gone to legend status on this show by just coming on in a Brisbane Lions jumper and ripping into Andy, but you could go to Hall of Fame status with a winning tip here. What do you like on Saturday night? You can tip anywhere you want.
We're going to go with Leap to Fame in the Smoking Up Sprint. But what's interesting here with this race, looking ahead to next week with the Victoria Cup, this race traditionally hasn't been a good lead-up or a key race as far as the lead-up is concerned for the Victoria Cup. Last year, Act Now, Rock and Roll Do, Max Delight, Lochinvar, Bling It On, Tiger Tara, Lenny the Shark. None of those horses started in the Smoking Up Sprint. This year, we've got the two main players lining up on Saturday night in Leap to Fame and Catch a Wave. So maybe we're going to see a different trend as far as the history is concerned. But just on what I saw last week, this is the big question with Leap to Fame. Has he got better? How do we know if he's got better? But on what he delivered last week, it's going to take a mighty horse to beat him there on Saturday night and again next week. So happy to go with Leap to Fame as the best across the weekend.
Good stuff. Thanks, Chris. When can we see you at Melton, by the way?
Saturday nights, normally at Albion Park. So if there's a feature Friday night meeting at Melton, you might be able to get me down there. Maybe we might be able to get the Lions down there on a Friday night, and I might be able to make a weekend of it as well.
Andy would put you up at Long Forest, wouldn't you, Andy?
Yeah. Chris keeps asking me when I'm going to race a horse in Queensland again.
Yeah, well, that won't be anytime soon, given what happened last weekend. You'll be happy to steer clear of Brisbane.
Hold you to last, Daz. Andy, best bet, what are you doing on Saturday night?
Yeah, I'll go with one of mine. I'll go with I'm Ready Jet. even though I think she's a touch short, I still think she'll get the job done.
Good stuff. $1.60 into $1.60. Daz, what are you doing? Can you give us a bit more meat on the multi?
Yeah, I was looking at the meeting. It's very thin as far as opportunities for best bets because there's some complex races with Derby heats with the Emma Stewart hat dominating, and the one that I found was RDB Mickey, and I was quite happy to take the 240 and 260 in some places, and just think she finds the front, ticks a lot of boxes for me, and she's got outstanding form in Queensland, and very confident.
RDB Mickey for you. If just play this by ear, I guess you could even wait up until start time. If you got somewhere near the $2 for Maori's Mac to run a place, I would be very, very keen. We just don't have that market available. And I'm thinking more the $1.20, $1.30 range. So we won't go that short. But I thought Bay of Biscay would just win the second Derby heat race 4 on the card. Look, he's $1.70 into $1.55, so similar range to Leap to Fame. I'm Ready Jet. So I'll go race 4, number 4, Bay of Biscay. And just a reminder for those Tab customers, you can just check the app on Saturday. The Tab always builds a burning question special. They don't always take the 4 bets, but they will take a compilation, or they'll pluck a couple of hours out and turn it into a burning question special, and they usually give you a little bit extra meat on the bone. So keep an eye on that. But race 4, number 4, Bay of Biscay for me.
Any jackpots this week, Tim?
Yeah, there is. There is a $25,000 early quaddie jackpot, Daz. So have you got one there in front of you or not? Have I put you on the spot? Actually, I might have it.
I did send it through.
Hang on, I'll read this out and then we'll let...
Yeah, okay.
I will read this out because so $25,000 early quaddie jackpot. We know what they can do. They can create some really good dividends. Early quaddie for Darren Carroll. Numbers 2 and 3 in the first leg. Numbers 2 and 7 in the second leg. Numbers 3, 4, 6, 7, and 10 in the third leg. And one out with the 4, who I reckon is Bay of Biscay in the final leg. So you're with me there, Daz. Hey, Chris, really appreciate you jumping on the show. I think you got to go call a meeting shortly, don't you?
Yeah, we'll be off to a meeting very soon. So it's only a short program today, just 7.
Feel free to give us burning questions a little shout out for anyone who wants to jump on and have a look. Thanks for coming on the show, Darren. Always a pleasure.
My pleasure.
And look, Andy, it's not always a pleasure with you, but I really appreciate you jumping on, mate.
No, that's all right. It's great to share career highlights for with Chris, to be on burning questions. So we're sure something that he'll cherish.
You better not walk down the street. What was that, Chris?
Do you want to sing the song, Andy, as we go out?
It's okay. I sort of heard it a few times. I do know it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Great stuff, guys. That's been Burning Questions, October 3. Tune into the coverage at Melton on Saturday night. The first race on the program to go at 5:59 p.m.